The National Student Financial Aid Scheme says it's working to merge data collection systems with different institutions in the country in efforts to prevent the late payment of student allowances. At least 20,000 students did not receive their payments for November. NSFAS has blamed the delays on universities. However, the financial scheme has since committed to ensuring that all payments outstanding from 2023 be paid by the 15th of January. NSFAS spokesperson Ishmael Nisi says they have full confidence that the direct system payment will ensure that the paying recipients are paid.
What NSFAS intends to do is to intensify on its stakeholder management, which in this instance, institutions of higher learning, both our universities and TVET colleges, are very central towards the success of NSFAS's work, including the payment of allowances to students. Now, of course, NSFAS has gone through various stages of transformation, including bringing in new systems into play. You have just mentioned now the direct payment system, which is one system that we believe that it will be able to resolve all the challenges of delays in payment. However, if it is done, properly and in accordance with, in liaison with our institutions of higher learning, particularly the issues of data management or sharing of data between ourselves and the institutions. So this is how we intend to do away with the delays in payment. We are working with the direct payment service providers. We are working with our institutions to make sure that our systems are seamless, so that there are no glitches in the system. Because if there is a glitch from an institution, it affects NSFAS. If there's a glitch from NSFAS, it will then affect the payment period. Yeah. And this is what we are trying to deal with. The board of NSFAS made it very clear to all management that we were not allowed to take any leave. We were there to make sure that we clean up the system, to make sure that all the necessary glitches are removed. And that's why we are, we have put the date of the 15th as a date that we envisage that if our institutions are open on time and we interact with them, we then should be able to clear this backlog.
Now, for reaction on this, I am joined by South African Students' Congress President Vezinhlanhla Simelane. Vezinhlanhla, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. A happy New Year to you. What was your response to NSFAS confirming payouts by the 15th of January?
Happy New Year to you and good day to our viewers at home. I think, number one, we must state that as an organization, we are quite disappointed by the virtue that there are more than 20,000 students who have not received their allowances in the year 2023. You will know that allowances on their own, it means a lot to our students because in the main, they contribute in ensuring that the student is able to participate fully in class by having something to eat and so on. So if there are students who are 20,000 plus who have not received their allowances in 2023, we are not even sure that they will be able to receive their allowances in 2024 because actually don't even understand what made NSFAS and universities not to assist those students to get their allowances, because at the end of the day, it will affect them on their academic performance. And when they are affected academically, it is the very same NSFAS that has their own policies in terms of N+1 rule and so on. They will be kicked out at some point without even getting to understand that at some point they are the ones who have contributed in a manner in which our students are unable to perform academically because they are not given what is due to them in terms of living allowances and so on. So we are quite disappointed, and we think that the management of NSFAS is really out of order, and we don't think that at this point in time, we're in 2024 now, we're supposed to look for 2024 academic year, but there are outstanding issues of 2023. So it really raises a question in terms of leadership of NSFAS that indeed there are serious challenges in NSFAS leadership and both universities, because at some point you'll find that it's universities that have issues in terms of data and so on. But what is it that NSFAS is doing at their level? So NSFAS, for the challenge, leadership question is challenged. And we think that as an organization, we need a serious intervention. Because if we are going to move in this fashion, I don't think that the academic year of 2024 will be there of progresses, because NSFAS will rely a lot on NSFAS funding, since you know that they fund almost 90% of higher education in terms of students. So if they're continuing with this behavior, I don't think we're going to accept it. I think they're going to force us to challenge them. Otherwise, if we may go to the streets, of course, the streets can never be our first solution. We always try and engage where we can, but if they're pushing us to a corner, I don't think we're going to accept it, because we can't have students at this point in time who have not received their allowances.
So what steps has Sasco taken to address this issue and advocate for timely payouts from NSFAS across the board?
We have engaged NSFAS, I think last year in December. We have called NSFAS to our last NEC meeting that we had when we were closing the year. We even called them to our national policy conference to come and address us. Unfortunately, they didn't come to our policy conference. But as an organization, according to the briefing we've got from NSFAS, they said to us that by the end of 2023, students would receive their allowances. At this point in time, that is why we're even saying we're not even sure that by the 15th of January, what they are saying it will happen. So we've done all the things necessary in terms of speaking to them in a manner in which is at a level of management to address them formally. We engage them. So I think the last option, if maybe the 15th of Jan comes and there is no action from NSFAS, I don't think we have a choice but to call upon all our students to unite against this barbaric act by NSFAS, so that at the end of the day there is accountability from the level of NSFAS. Because if NSFAS is collapsing in the manner in which companies are doing things by NSFAS, we don't have any solution at this point in time besides NSFAS. So Sasco has a responsibility to protect NSFAS. If there are people who are unable to do their work, we must be able to identify those people and we must get rid of those people if they are unable to do their work. They've done it to the CEO where they've suspended the CEO. If there are any people who are still not doing their work in that organization, and Sasco are calling upon the removal of those that are not doing their work. But we must be able to identify who is responsible for disputing of allowances. If we are to call upon the removal of the board, we have to do that, because at the end of the day, it's the board that is accountable to the ministry. It's the board that accounts to NSFAS. In terms of managerial issues, it's only management that is not accountable to a management accounts to the board. So if the board is not doing their work, I don't think we'll have a choice but to call upon the removal of the board, because they will be not doing justice to our students.
So Vezinhlanhla, what do you believe are the challenges or the hindrances that NSFAS and those working there in terms of the management are experiencing, that they aren't able to pay out students that qualify for these funds timelessly?
Sorry?
All right, it seems as though we have lost Vezinhlanhla Simelane there, who's the president of Sasco, speaking to us about the payouts for 20,000 students in terms of the allowances that they were meant to receive last year in November, and now with NSFAS promising that these will be paid out by the 15th of January.